Alright guys, now that the SRZ is gone, that was a long project, and thank you everybody for watching along with me. That one was fun. I really truly enjoy doing big jobs like that. They don't happen very often, but when they do, it's a blast because you get to spend 3 or 4 days, you know, making something completely custom. It's one-off, nobody has it. But a lot of you guys in the comments have been asking about my welding setup and what I use, what I have, you know, and tips and tricks on making the welds look good like I do. But I figured we'll get to that a little bit later. But in this video, I'm going to go over the actual equipment that I used on Jimmy's car for doing all those welds. It's quite a bit actually, but you'll find out sooner than later that you don't really need to have super deep pockets to get into this kind of thing. But I'll show you what the setup is that I'm running with now. First things first, my welding helmet. The welding helmet is made by 3M. It is called a Speed Glass, and I believe it is the model 9100. Yeah, it is right there, 9100. This is by far the best helmet I have ever owned. Now, I had Harbor Freight stuff. I had some of the cheaper brands, and they're great. They're fine. They work. There's no reason not to buy a cheap helmet, an auto-darkening helmet. The reason I went for the Speed Glass, I've had this helmet probably 7 or 8 years now, but the reason I went for it is you see the size of that viewing window? That entire section is viewable space from inside the helmet. Not only that, but this helmet also has side view. And yeah, there you go. You can see through that. You can actually see out your peripheral, which may sound weird that you would want to do that, but I cannot tell you how that has made my life so much easier. I can't even explain it. Like, you can see to the sides, which is odd, but you get used to it, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Now, the only other thing that I like about this helmet is it is literally, let's see if I can flip this out of the way here. Hold on, I'm going to put it on. The different things that you have, settings that you have, you won't get in the Harbor Freight helmets. I can adjust the shades. The shades for, I think it's 5 and 8. Those are great for like grinding and plasma cutting and stuff. And then 9 through 13 are welding. And those are actual legitimate shade numbers. So if somebody says, hey, you need a shade 12 to weld like that, well then you just set it to number 12 and you're good. The other thing too is sensitivity and delay. I can set the sensitivity and the delay for which this thing actually comes on. So like if I've got, you know, super bright lights in the shop or something going on where I need to dull the sensitivity down, I can do that. If I need to delay it because I'm grinding and I don't want, you know, it to darken during grinding, then I can do that as well. This helmet right here, when I bought it, was about, I want to say $400, somewhere around that area. They have newer ones. They have ones that are range from like $300 to about $700, but if you're just starting in welding, you can definitely get away with the Harbor Freight style helmet. It's not going to hurt, and it'll work just fine. Now, a little tip about helmets and how they work. Now, what hurts you from a welding arc is not the brightness of the arc itself. Yes, it is blinding, it's bright, but it is actually the infrared radiation that comes off of that bright light. The infrared and ultraviolet radiation from that spark will actually burn the retinas of your eyes and burn your eyes themselves. And anybody who's ever welded without a mask knows that your eyes feel like somebody threw a pound of sand in them the next morning when you wake up. That's because you've actually burned the outer coating of your eyeball. So with these helmets, this whole section right here, even if it doesn't darken, you'll oh my God, that's bright. But even if it does not darken, it blocks 100% of infrared and ultraviolet light, even in an undarkened state. So that's why I say cheap helmet will be fine. If it doesn't darken by accident, not a huge deal. If the speed at which it darkens is a little slower than the 3M, not a big deal. You're still protected from the ultraviolet and the infrared. All right, now that we've gone over the helmet, here's the welding setup. I'll step back a little bit so you can see it. That is an Everlast Welders PowerTig 255 EXT. Now, this welder, as you guys can see, has a ton of settings. I can literally set everything from AC frequency to gas flow, pre-flow, post-flow, upslope, downslope, pulse time. I can do pulse with it. I can set AC balance frequencies for welding aluminum. This is an AC/DC TIG machine, so it will do aluminum, it will do stainless steel, titanium, carbon steel. It does everything. This unit runs about $2,500 I think, which is a phenomenal price because a Miller of the same caliber is about $6 grand. So it's excellent. This one here, you guys have probably seen all these hoses and everything coming out of here. Well, these hoses, one of them actually feeds gas to the torch itself. The other ones actually feed a coolant, a welding coolant, and that's what this guy is down here. It's a water cooler. Now what the water cooler does is it actually sends the cooling fluid up through this hose right here that's attached to the torch. It brings the coolant up here around the head of the torch and back. So when I do those super long sessions where I'm welding for like 3-4 hours at a clip, that helps immensely because I can hold on to that torch forever and it never gets hot. Now, all the water cooler is basically is a pump. It's got a hot inlet, a cold outlet. It's got a radiator on the back. It's filled with a special fluid designed for water coolers for welding. It's got some anti-corrosive stuff in it and everything else. And then to top off the whole setup, we've got two 300 CFM cubic foot, 300 cubic, yeah, 300, these have 300 cubic feet of argon in them. It is pure argon. And on this side I have an actual flow meter that I can adjust, and that's for the torch. And then my other setup over here is connected to this hose, which is what I use for back purging everything, which is what you guys saw in all the videos. Now, this setup isn't cheap. I mean, the whole setup, welder, water cooler, and bottles. The cart, you'll notice, is blue. That's still crooked. Jesus. You'll notice that the cart is blue. I used to have a Miller TIG, a Miller Diversion 185, which was a great welder. It was about $2,000 new. But I needed something with a little bit more capability, a little better settings, something with a little higher amperage. And the Everlast, I was sold on them. Their prices are incredible. They're half of what Miller and Lincoln cost. And their quality so far, I've had the welder, God, probably 6 months now. 6-8 months, and it's been great. It's been absolutely as good as the Miller, if not slightly better. So highly recommend them if you're in the market for a welder. I think their website is everlastgenerators.com. I'll put a link down in the description, but they have some really nice entry-level welders for pretty affordable prices, and their stuff so far has been pretty good. So I would highly recommend picking one of those up. Now, this whole setup here, in case you're wondering, with the cart, which I made, the bottles, the flow meters, the welder, the water cooler, all the supplies for the TIG torch, the different cups, the tungsten, basically everything you need to get welding minus the filler wire. I think the whole setup was probably $5,000 maybe. So it's around there. It's definitely not entry level cheap. But if you're looking for something to be able to do what I did on these past few videos, that's kind of what you're going to need. And it'll make life easier anywho. But now let's move on to the actual table that I weld on. Now, you guys see me at this table constantly. And I apologize, there's a ton of stuff everywhere because we're still cleaning up from the mess that we made doing Jimmy's car. But the table is literally a full steel table that I don't know who made it or where it came from, but I just kind of acquired it a couple years ago, and it stores all my scrap pieces that really come in handy anytime I'm doing work. I clamp the ground for the welder directly to the table. This way it gives me the ability to weld right on this surface right here, and I can just lay the part on the surface and move it in any direction that I need to weld it, and I don't have to worry about actually clamping the ground to it, because this top plate here is 1/4 inch thick steel, and it's on top of another 1/4 inch thick steel plate. So there's about a 1/2 inch worth of steel on top of this table. And the other nice thing too, is that the vise is actually grounded to the table as well. So with the vise being grounded to the table, I can put stuff in the vise and weld that too. So that right there, folks, is honestly everything that I use to weld all the stuff for Jimmy's SRZ. If you're looking to get into welding, a lot of you guys are looking to get into TIG welding, do your research. I'm going to be doing some more stuff going forward. Kind of getting geared towards the new welder, somebody who wants to weld, somebody who's going to school for welding. I notice a lot of you guys in the comments are asking for, you know, first-time welder advice and what welders to buy and things of that nature. So we're going to get a little bit more into that. Now, aside from that machine, I'm just going to go real quick and show you the rest of the stuff that I use when I'm fabricating for right now. Once I get into the new shop, I'll be able to give you guys a glimpse of everything that I have once it's all up and running, but we're waiting for that new shop to be finalized. So, but we've got our Millermatic 211. This welder is amazing. It's a little on the expensive side. It's, I think, just about 13 or 1400 bucks, but well worth it. Runs on 110, runs on 220, and you can pretty much make anything together that you want. And then lastly, we have an ESAB Handy Plasma 380, and this will basically do 3/8 inch steel. It's a 30 amp plasma cutter, so that comes in super handy when you don't feel like using any kind of torches or saws or anything like that. And then just a DeWalt chop saw. I have a DeWalt chop saw that I use to cut most of this stuff, but a lot of it that we need to precision cut, I'll do with the plasma cutter, and then, you know, clean it up with a flap disc or whatever. Depends really on what I'm welding. Like all the titanium stuff, I'll cut with an actual fresh cut-off wheel on the angle grinder just to be safe with it. But that's pretty much it for everything that we used on this particular job. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We are going to be doing something cool. We are now going to be, well, I shouldn't say we, I should say I, because it's going to be me that's doing it. Excuse me. I'm going to be going live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on YouTube. And what we're going to do is the Tuesday before we go live on Instagram, on my Instagram account. If you haven't been there yet, go to it. It's down in the description. I'm going to post a question and answer post. So you guys will be able to actually ask me any questions that you want in that Instagram post on Tuesday. And then the following Wednesday, we will answer those questions in a live video. We're going to try to keep the videos right on par at 7 p.m. every Wednesday so that we can get you guys, you know, up to speed on welding equipment and everything else that you want to know from me. Hopefully it'll be a good learning experience for you guys, and it was a blast for me to do that live show, so I want to do it some more. So yes, this coming Wednesday, 7 p.m. YouTube live. You guys will be able to come in there, ask me questions. I'll have the Instagram post on Tuesday so that you can post your questions and then have them answered on Wednesday. And hopefully we'll be able to do that every Wednesday. I think it'd be super cool to, that's kind of weird. It'll be super cool to chill with you guys for, you know, an hour, a couple hours, whatever it takes to answer all the questions. But I think it's going to be a good time. So swing back. We got some more stuff coming for you next week. Got some general repair stuff that's coming. I got a big box truck I got to do a fuel pump on. So we're going to get doing that now. And here's your 15-minute video. Enjoy. Thanks for everything. We're up to over 6,000 subscribers now. You guys have been killing it. For all you guys who have been suggesting my channel or sharing it or letting your friends know about it, thank you so much. I mean, it has been a ride so far. I never thought it would jump so quick. You know, Jimmy's shout outs have given me all these subs, and then I've gained so much more after that. It's just been unreal. I mean, I never expected it to jump as quick as it did, so it's cool. And I can't wait to give you guys some more information. I can't wait to interact with you guys. I can't wait to keep making more videos for you guys. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. All right, now I'm done babbling. I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe on this video, and we'll get more content going for you. All right, guys, have a good night.